It's finally here. For years, people who own XRP have had to wait, guess, and deal with everything from market crashes to court cases. The people who use XRP always had one thought at the center of their dreams. In the end, Ripple, the company behind XRP, would go public. This would make the community as a whole more useful and trustworthy. That dream isn't just a thought anymore. The S-1 registration form that was sent to the SEC was among the secret copies that were stolen from Ripple. But there's a catch. There is a shocking sentence in that document that says, people who own XRP may be given the first chance to buy Ripple shares at a big discount. That was what you heard, right? If you have XRP, you might be able to buy Ripple stock before anyone else. This is very big, and it could be the most important thing to happen in the history of crypto wealth. Let's start at the top. The company sends the S-1 form to the SEC when it wants to put its assets up for sale to the public. History of the business, risks, financials, and often some very interesting details about early investors and other important people are all in the prospectus. In the fine print, we can read about a plan to give out loyalty shares. In the market, it's a huge deal, but in the law, it's not a big deal. The app seems to know that verified XRP users can take part in an early stock sale before Ripple goes public. It works a lot like an airdrop, even though it's not called one. People who own XRP get value right away without having to use normal methods to buy things. This is Ripple's way of saying that its community is a big part of what makes it work. Let's take a step back and read on to see how this changes everything we know about XRP. It's not a pump. It's not a story or a tweet. This is Ripple, the company that fought the SEC hard and told its most loyal community members that they would get stock as a prize. Think about that for a moment. Investors and people who work for the company are the only ones who can get early access to stock in the real world, but Ripple could be the first blockchain company to build its own coin ecosystem so that more people can get that chance. This rule will not only make some people rich, but it will also change how stocks and cryptocurrencies work together. The time has come to talk about numbers. Now, Coinbase was worth more than $60 billion when it first went public in 2021. That's why Coinbase was worth over $60 billion when it went public in 2021. Let's talk about how much Ripple could be worth. Lots of people, not just crypto people, were afraid they would miss out on the IPO. But here's the thing. What Ripple has made for businesses is much better than what Coinbase has to offer. Ripple does work with states, banks, and payment companies. The main part of on-demand, liquidity lines that link many countries together, is made up of them. Ripple could go public at a value of $100 billion or more, depending on how the market feels and how much money they already have. This is because Coinbase was worth $60 billion when it first went public. If you have XRP, you might be able to buy into that IPO early and for less money. It's not just a money win. This is a chance that will never come up again. But let's take a closer look. Two things that drive value are happening at the same time. Let's start by talking about how much XRP costs. When people hear that having XRP could give you access to Ripple stock, they will want it like crazy. That's not for guessing. It's for making plans. All of a sudden, traders, businesses, and buyers who don't use crypto will need XRP to get early access to stocks. There is now a lot of new desire for a token that only comes in a certain amount. The second thing is how much Ripple stock is worth. Early buyers could make a lot of money before the secondary market even starts, if Ripple goes public at a value of $60 billion to $100 billion. This is especially true for people who bought at a discount. Almost no other crypto project can offer. 2 wins in 1. Let's talk about when things need to be done. The leak says that the public should be able to see the IPO in 3 months or 90 days. That's it. Let us talk about the right time. What the report says is that the IPO will most likely happen in the next 90 days. 3 months. That's it. People will only have that much time before a lot of people hear this whole story. Before it gets a lot of attention on Twitter and CNBC, and before big investors put their money in and close the gates. You're early, you now know. Still, I know that time is very important. The price of XRP will not only go up when people learn about this IPO, it will also be repriced. It won't be seen as an option to money, but as a way to get stocks that are good enough for Wall Street. Before that, there will be no more old price bands. XRP will never cost 50 C-Day seeds or even $5. But let's talk about the big issue that no one wants to bring up. Is this okay? Is it possible for Ripple to use tokens to give stock? It's hard to understand, but the answer looks good. The court said that XRP is not a security on secondary markets, which means that the SEC case is over. This gives Ripple a unique legal base to try out mixed models that combine stocks and tokens. One that is built on customer loyalty might be possible, as long as they follow the law and know your customer rules. This is very important if the program is approved and opt-in. People who own XRP and want to buy IPO shares will likely have to go through a process to get permission to do so. If an exchange has signed up, it could be through Ripple's own page. The door is open, though. It shows how far ahead of the curve Ripple is that people are thinking about it. This move also has a deeper, more symbolic meaning. Ripple is showing that its users are real. For years, people who owned XRP were told they were wrong, their coin was worthless, and they had bet on the wrong horse. People are now using the same code to get into the major ranks. Beyond NASDAQ, it has ties to Wall Street's wealthy and important. It's worth more now than it was before the IPO. This is the real deal when it comes to XRP, not a blog post, white paper, or powerful tweet. We need to know what's going on with Chain as we move into the last part of this study. A lot of XRP is being kept in whale wallets very quickly. Banks are taking a lot of money out of the economy by losing money in exchange. It's important to know what's going on in the blockchain in the last part of this study. You may already know that whale wallets are adding XRP very quickly. Banks are taking a lot of money out of the economy by losing money in exchange. Over-the-counter, OTC desks keep track of large purchases that can't be tracked and seem to be linked to set places. This has no chance. There is a lot of money that knows what will happen. They know that Ripple's IPO is more than just a big deal for the business. Besides that, it's important for business and society. You can tell they are in the right place. Are you on the side of people who have hung on to XRP through boot camps, lawsuits, delistings, and fake news? It might be time to sell now. Everybody may be excited about this gift, but something needs to be done. First, look what you have in your hands. If you need to, you can link your wallet to your name if you keep it on your own. Keep up with Ripple's news, and if you can, raise your share price before demand goes through the roof. Once this news hits the big news outlets, it will be too late to change anything. The chance will